What was your name again?
Hilton.
Okay, cool.
This is Dave.
Nice to meet you.
And I'm Jeff. You ready?
Yeah.
Right.
All right. So, like I said, kind of explain what we do is talk to people about a belief they have, right? Something,
Okay.
and it's usually a much more interesting conversation if it's something that motivates you to change your behavior in the real world, right?
Okay.
And it can be anything. I've had conversations with people about karma, about a God belief. I've had conversations about whether the coronavirus or the vaccine, those types of things. So you basically can pick whatever topic, something that you believe, and we can kick it off and go from there.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna go the karma route.
Okay.
At first, when I first started dating her, it's been 3 years now, and she'd always say, don't do that. Karma's gonna get you. And I was like, you're full of it. You're not making any sense whatsoever. And as I started listening to her more and more about it, her pattern was right. It added up more to where it's coming to a factual play. So I think one day I told her something, and she was like, "Karma is going to get you." I mean, it wasn't anything just terrible. I was just joking around. And sure, if it didn't, it happened about 30 minutes later. My truck broke down, and I was like, "Huh, karma is getting real."
um, Let me ask you, how confident would you be that karma is a real thing? Like if you use the scale from like 0 to 100, like 0 being you got no confidence, karma's not real at all, nothing you can say would convince me, and 100% being karma's absolutely real, and nothing you could say would dissuade me from believing karma is real. Where would you 0 to 100? Where would you put yourself on that
I'd
scale?
I'd put it at 100.
At 100? Wow, that's pretty high.
And I think one thing that can go back with karma is your actions have consequences.
Okay.
You can control what you do, but you can't control the outcome. So if you do something positive, you have a positive outcome hopefully coming your way. But if I go and do something just terrible to a person, not treat them how I want to be treated, it's going to come back on me eventually.
Okay. So at 100%, I mean that's pretty strong. So you've related a couple of things like from your experiences, right? Is there anything else that convinces you, puts you at 100% mark, other than like what you've experienced? Is there anything else that's kind of in the bucket of things that convince you?
Um, I guess it was just going through like a personal knowledge too, and learning stories from other people about it. And it makes the more you learn about it, the more you gain interest,
Mm-hmm.
and the more you go to seek out an answer for it until you find it.
Um, so at 100%, that's really way up there. Like so, is there any information do you think that you could come across or find that would decrease your confidence at all?
I'm sure there is, but I haven't put in the time to actually research it.
Right.
I'm sure there's accredited sources from universities and stuff like that. I just haven't put in the time to research it.
Right. So you mentioned one thing about you had done something and your girlfriend said, karma's going to get you, and then your truck broke down, right?
Yes, sir.
Um, if your truck hadn't have broken down, um, would that have increased or decreased your confidence that
It
karma's real?
it would have definitely decreased it. That at that point in time when it happened, I was still like, I'm not fully on the train about it, and after that, it really sold me.
So you were actually looking for things to confirm that karma was real at
Yes.
that time? I got you. Um, so if if you did something that was, you said like bad to another person, or like hurt them in some way, and nothing bad happened or came out of it, would that decrease your confidence any? In other words, you got away with something?
Yes, yes, and no. Yeah, that's a tricky question because there's some times that you don't mean to hurt someone's feelings or something like that. I'm very guilty of it, and
There you go. Much better. Okay.
there's times that you can hurt someone's feelings and not know it, and I'm
Right.
guilty of it too, and it come back just a couple years later when someone hurts your feelings, or you hurt someone's feelings on purpose and it comes back later to you the next day when someone hurts your feelings. I think it varies in the times it comes.
Could could somebody hurt your feelings, and you not have hurt somebody's feelings?
Yeah, I think that's just a part of life in general. There's always going to be someone that's going to say something to you, no matter the circumstances.
So in that case, then karma wouldn't apply to that. Like, if somebody hurts your feelings, but you haven't done anything or hurt anybody else's feelings, then it just happened that somebody hurt your feelings then, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't be it. So sometimes when bad things happen, it's karma, and sometimes when bad things happen, it's not karma?
Yes, I think sometimes it's the nature of a person or nature of a situation.
It's the nature of a person or situation. So the nature of a person or the nature of the situation can control whether or not karma is active in that situation? Is that what you're saying? I got that right?
I believe that would be true because you might have someone, which is very rare, that someone that means just malice. But that person that does normally ends up having something terrible happen to them. If you watch, if you just kind of keep up with them but stay distant, normally something happens to them. And it happens for a reason.
So bad things happen for a reason. But we said that though not all the time that bad things happen is not always for a reason, though. Sometimes just bad things happen, right? How do you tell the difference when something happens for no reason and when something bad is happening because of karma? How do you tell the difference?
Honestly, I haven't really thought into that. There's a very fine line in that, I guess you'd say. It's not really. Man, I don't really know how to answer this. This is deep. My education only goes so far right now. I'm still trying to finish.
There's no right or wrong
No.
answers, right? So we're just having a conversation. But that's the whole point of this is to try to get people to think about what it is that's informed your belief. Why do you believe it? And so I think you've said that sometimes bad things happen because of karma, but sometimes bad things happen just because bad things happen. So how would you tell the difference?
I would say the karma part would be, it's just something directed to that person. If that makes sense, something bad happens to that one exact person, but just bad things happen to be multiple people involved that don't have anything else to do with it. Or if something,
So if it's directed towards, if something bad happens to just a single person, then it's more likely to be karma. But if it happens to multiple people, it's more likely to not be karma. Is that right?
That's what I'd say.
Okay, so single person. So is every time something bad happens to a single person, is it karma?
No, I don't really. I think it just depends, when you think of karma, you think of treating someone right or doing someone wrong. I'd like to think I treat people fairly, and I'm sure I have some slip-ups, but my day goes wrong a lot.
Everybody's does, I think.
And I think a little backstory, I farm for a living. And it is a non-stop mechanic breakdown, tear up. It's
Sure.
People have bad days. I have days I come home covered in grease and dirt, and she can't wash out of my clothes. But it's just, I think karma goes back to just dealing with how people are treated in the end of the day, and bad things just happen that are just a point of the universe, if that makes sense. Just something bound to happen. You can't control the future at all. And something's just, you can't go and revert and go in time and say, hey, I'm not going to hit a tree right here. But, you don't mean to hit it, but you take it out. So it's just one of those things that, happen.
Does karma work in good situations as well? So, I mean, we talked about kind of bad things happening. And sometimes bad things happen that's because of karma, you've said, and sometimes bad things just happen that's not because of karma. Still not quite sure how we would tell the difference. But what about the good things? Does it work that way as well?
Yes.
So is same question I asked you about the bad karma. Is every time something good happens, is it karma? Or is it sometimes just something good happened?
I think it's a mix of both again.
Mix of both.
I think it all goes back to just the way it all works in the universe. You can plan for good stuff to happen constantly, and you can set yourself up to be in the right position. But I think, the better you treat others and others' belongings and animals and stuff, I think the more it's more inclined to go right for you.
So the better you treat others, the more inclined it goes right. I guess what's kind of curious to me is if you're not able to tell in situations whether what's happening is karma or it's just something happening. I'm kind of wondering how you could be at 100% confident, because it sounds like to me you're saying there's situations that happen that wouldn't be attributed to karma, and we're not able to tell the difference between those two things when they're happening. Um, do you think you think that 100%? I mean, you think maybe after talking about that a little bit, maybe you still at 100%? You think?
Well, and here's my reason in front of the 100%. I chose 100% because I know it's real. I know that it affects some aspect of my life, and I've seen it do it multiple times on multiple different occasions. That's my reason for 100%. Now, if you were asking me if I was breaking it down on this, break it up like you just did on just normal life and karma, I wouldn't be 100% on both sides or the way it's bad. But I know it's happened in my life, and I've watched it, so I have 100% understanding that it's real.
Okay, so that it's real, and the reason you think it's real is because when you've done something good has happened back to you, or when you've done something wrong to a person, then something bad has happened back to you, right?
Yes.
Um, and I asked the question already, if something bad or good could happen to you without it being karma. I know I just keep coming back to this 'cause I'm trying to figure it out. Let's let that helicopter get by here. Will it pick it up okay? Yeah. So how do we tell the difference though, right? That's where I'm trying to figure out, because um, it seems like to me that you could just as easily, if it happens sometimes for both reasons, whether it's karma or not karma, that a person would be justified in all the time attributing everything to karma, or all the time attributing everything to not karma.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we tell the difference?
I think the difference goes on the personal beliefs. Everyone believes in something different. Yeah, for all I know, you could believe that South Carolina Gamecocks are better than Georgia football. That's just a reference for
Okay.
right here. I could come up with, but that's your personal belief. My belief is that karma happens for reasons, and yes, good stuff does happen occasionally. But I'm by myself most of the day. I don't see hardly anyone, and I just until I get home at night. So when I have a good day, I'm thinking, okay, I've been doing right to my other peers, but I've also just been doing right the whole day. If that makes sense.
Right. So does a personal belief of the person, how to ask this, does a person have to believe in karma in order for karma to work in their life? Or so if a person doesn't believe in karma, does karma still affect them?
That's a really good question. From my standpoint, I'd say yes. They don't have to believe, but it'll still affect them. From
Okay.
their standpoint, they could say no. I think it's all just it's worthless, and
chance or circumstance, perhaps.
But from my point of view, I say yes, it works even if I don't believe.
Yeah, so I guess it's just trying to wrap my head around, if we can't tell the difference, how would I know if, when something good or bad happened to me, how would I be able to tell whether or not it was karma?
You know, you really don't know. But the way the way I try to judge it is, if I stopped and, just for an example, let's make one up. If I stopped and changed an old lady's tire on the side of the road, I just couldn't physically do it anymore, and I had something come around to me, that happened good, I can easily tell, that's what it came from. But if something just comes out of nowhere, it's like you said, it's hard to be in. But I feel like it just comes, I don't think there's a whole time period on it, if that makes sense.
So it's all, it could be any time period at all throughout your whole life then. In other words, you could do something good when you're 7, and then something good will happen to you when you're 70?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very plausible.
What if you stop and change the old lady's tire, and you were helping her, and then when you're pulling back onto the highway, you got hit by a truck or a car in your car, would you think that karma was acting then?
No. I'd probably be mad at the world right there. To give you a short and simple answer, I'd be pretty mad right there.
Well, yeah, not being able to tell the difference, it just seems like it seems like it's probably difficult for you to even determine when something's karma or not then, right?
It can be, yes.
But yet you're 100% confident, even though you can't tell whether it's karma or not, you're 100% confident that it's happening.
Yes.
So if I was 100% confident, of something, but then I wasn't able to tell when that was happening, how would that justify my 100% confidence? That's where I'm trying to get at here. It's like, if you can't tell when it's happening and when it's not happening, but yet you're 100% confident that it is happening, I'm trying to figure out how does that balance out, right?
Yeah. I completely understand what you're saying there, but it's just the times I have done bad and wrong, I have noticed something goes terribly wrong in my life, and I think that's what it draws, saying this is what's happening here.
Okay. Well, I don't really have any other questions. Do you have any questions for me, or?
I don't.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the time, and Hilton, it's very nice to meet you, and
Very good to meet
you
you.
guys have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for stopping.
Can I ask you? I got one question.
Yeah.
Where'd you go to school at?
Where did I go to school? North Carolina. I'm from North
Okay.
Carolina. Why?
Do you have a degree in sociology?
No, I don't. I'm an engineer, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Thanks again for stopping. Oh yeah.
It's just a hobby of mine, and that I do. It's called street epistemology.
Street Epistemology.
You can. Yeah, you can look up David's channel. There's a couple up there. Epistemology is the study of knowledge. How do we know the things that we know? And this is just a way for us to have conversations with people about things they believe and how they've arrived at their conclusions, and their epistemology basically. And it's something that's very interesting to me, and so we just kind of do this as a hobby. So.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, take it easy. Talk about that one real fast.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
It's pretty good. I was surprised that when he said he couldn't tell when it was karma and when it wasn't, that he maintained his 100% confidence, because
Yeah.
Um, it sounds like that. Well, I mean, it's just confirmation bias, right? I mean, it seems to me is what's going on there,
It
right?
sounded like there was a little bit of that when you were talking about, like, I was looking for it and I found it.
Right. That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because he said he was actively looking to see, and
Yeah.
oh, this happened. Well, it must be that. So I mean, that's obviously confirmation bias.
I wonder if beliefs for him are binary, like either he believes it or he doesn't. And so he's either 100% or he's zero. I wonder I
Could
wonder
be.
how he was looking at the
I
scale.
didn't ask him, but I did say on a scale, and
Yeah.
I threw the scale at him. Maybe I could have hit that point maybe a little bit more. Asked the question if it was binary for him.
Yeah. Is there anything that he believes 90%?
That would have
Just
been.
to
Yeah,
see
yeah, yeah.
if that's even possible
That's
for him.
right. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. I thought it was a good
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. I like how do you tell the difference? And if we can't tell the difference, how confident should we be in conclusions that we can't
Tell
tell
the
if it's
difference.
real or not,
Yeah,
or if it's happening?
that's like I was struggling with that with him because it's like um, it just seems obvious to me, and I would think just about anybody, if you can't tell whether or not something's really happening or not, but you're 100% confident that it's happening,
Yeah.
that doesn't. It's just like it doesn't. I can't. I can't sort the math in my head, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But and it was interesting that he said it came down to beliefs. I think because I asked him, somebody that doesn't believe in karma, does karma still, affect them? And he said that he stopped for a minute and he said, well, yeah, I think so. Probably does, but he wasn't quite as sure as that. So I think somehow.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Chair's open.
Would you like to have a conversation, interview?